Ron Harris here from musculardevelopment.com. Coverage of the Boston Pro, very first Boston Pro, brought to you by High Tech Pharma. Here with a gentleman making his pro debut. He's actually from the area, which makes it even more exciting for those of us from this area like myself. Please welcome Nate Spear. What's up, Nate?
What's going on, guys? Nate Spear here. Like Ron said, pro debut. Very excited just because I'm 40 minutes north. And as Ron would say, if you're 40 minutes north, you're from Boston, right? So I'm grandfathered in as a Bostonian.
You're from New Hampshire?
New Hampshire, yeah.
So that's Massachusetts adjacent. It's
Yeah.
close enough. It's close
People
enough.
ask you, you say, I'm from Boston, because people are going to be like, New Hampshire, where's that? No.
It's the Granite State, and the license. You have the best license plate. It's live free or die. I love that license plate. So you turned pro at the Nationals. Just how many? That hasn't been that long ago, was it?
So it was a 12-week stretch. So, yeah, 12 weeks ago, turned pro at Nationals. And obviously, they had the first Boston Pro got announced, and it was like a no-brainer for me. I mean, obviously, you're going into your pro debut. It's one of those things where expectations aren't super high, but it's one of those things, I wanted my family and friends to see and all the local people. And you got to have one person from the area do the show, right? I mean, come on.
I can't think of anybody else, maybe in some other divisions, but you're definitely the only one representing New England at this first Boston Pro. I'm super excited for this. You're a little more new to the game, but have you been wanting a pro show in Boston for a very long time, too?
Well, it's funny because when the show came out, I almost felt bad for Jose because I felt like they should have had a show just for him, almost like the Boston Mass, you know what I mean? And now they have it, and he's not on the scene. Because I was even thinking, man, Jose would probably do the open even if they had this show, you know what I mean? Because he's done a couple open shows himself. So it's definitely something, I think New England has a great bodybuilding scene because we have those little pockets of Connecticut, you got the Montanari brothers, and then obviously New York's not too far away, and then obviously Boston. And then you got New Hampshire and Vermont. There's some good bodybuilders randomly. So it's a small little pocket of really hardcore bodybuilding. So I've been waiting for this for a long time for sure.
So you prepped for Nationals, which was 12 weeks ago. I assume it was like a standard 16-week prep. And then you had... It's time to go home? You turn the lights. That was your light.
Yeah.
We're still rolling, guys. We don't care. So how did you manage that? Because obviously I don't think you stayed full prep the whole 12 weeks. Did you have a little bit of a break between?
Yeah, so pretty much what we did is after that, we made the decision to jump into the show, and we pulled back a little bit. So on the supplements, we pulled back on that. Food went up a little bit, increased, carbohydrates. Cardio went down, and it's sort of like reverse dieting. Like when people come out of a show, you increase food, but you're in such a lean state and you're so insulin sensitive that your body sort of soaks up the food. So we were able to use that to our advantage, and help me recover, refresh. Backed up on training a little bit as far as intensity goes for just a couple weeks, just to refresh the body, because 12 weeks is a long stretch to keep really just pounding it in, especially when you're in prep and your body is a little bit more fragile. It's not quite as recovering as properly, that kind of stuff. So we definitely used the maybe 2 to 4 weeks to pull back, just refresh, get some sleep back to normal, that kind of little stuff, that goes a long ways, I think.
So you must be excited because this show has a really good lineup, because the Arnold Classic was just a week ago, and we have a lot of the same people. We have William Bonac, who was a very, very close second. I don't know, did you have him winning? I had him winning.
I had him winning, yeah.
No offense to anybody. Steve Kuklo is in the show, Justin Rodriguez. You're going to get a chance, really, to stand with some of the best in the game, which some people would take that as, oh, no, intimidated, but you look like you're pretty excited about this.
Yeah, so there's definitely two ways you could go about it. You could be, so for your pro debut, I think some guys are like, oh, maybe I'll pick a show that is not quite as, heavily loaded normally, like an India or Toronto or something like that, and, have a hope of cracking the top 5, which is great. It's nothing against them for that. That was an option for me too, but, to stand next to guys like, William Bonac, that's just incredible for myself as a bodybuilding fan to be able to, even just be pumping up backstage with, Steve Kuklo. And so it's actually funny, when I started bodybuilding, one of my first magazines, I think, was actually Muscular Development. I don't know if you remember this one. It was with Steve Kuklo and Antoine Vaillant when they were 21, 22. They had the gun show thing. So I even remember that, when I first got started looking at Steve Kuklo as I'm going to, and now, I'm going to be standing on stage with him. So, that's exciting in its own right.
You're known for your conditioning, even from your... I remember seeing you as an amateur a couple of years ago, and you were in great shape just for an amateur, and you've taken it up several levels since then. Your coach is Andrew Barry?
Yeah,
Andrew Barry, what's Barry Swole? You can follow him on Instagram after you follow Nate Spear, of course. But what did you guys did you plan on bringing any kind of different look to this because it's a pro show? Sometimes guys try to come in bigger and fuller. Sometimes they go more for condition. What was your game plan this time?
So for us, we definitely stuck to our guns as far as like keeping it the conditioning because, at the end of the day, even if we come in with 5, 10 pounds fullness, we're still going to be shy of maybe 20 pounds from some of the competitors. So it's one of those games where, especially as a bodybuilding fan, where I watch the shows and can critique at home. One of my critiques is sometimes that some of these guys have all the great genetics in the world, but they can't nail the conditioning. So if I can really nail the conditioning, maybe I might be able to sneak 1 or 2 off. You never know. So, but if I come in fuller, it's like, okay, well, there's already other guys that are like full and round, so it's really not going to let you stand out. That's why I think, too, also Brett Wilkin did so well last year. He was just so dry and detailed, and it really made him, like, stick out, you know what I mean? And I think this year, they sort of tried to play that sort of game of, like, coming a little bigger, and we obviously saw what happened. Not to say he didn't look great anyways, but I'm just saying, sometimes you sort of play someone else's cards, and it doesn't really always fall in your favor.
Yeah, but I agree with you, and I think, you have a chance to get past some of these named guys, because I've seen it happen where someone who's a relative unknown, it's your pro debut, I know who you are, a lot of people know who you are, but, these are some names you're going up against. You might catch some of these guys slipping and get past some big names, and that's going to be a win for you, because you're just getting your feet wet. This is like the tip of the iceberg for you. Yeah. You're just, how long you been competing, like 3 years?
Like 6 years.
6 years, that's still like, I still like, 6 years. Yeah, well, Nate, we wish you the very best of luck. Glad you're going to be representing New England.
Of course.
And, man, we look forward to seeing your pro debut. It's going to be a really good show. Happy to have you as part of it.
My pleasure, man. Thanks for having me on, as always, and Boston representing.
Yeah. All right. For Muscular Development, this has been Nate Spear. Keep watching. Thanks, man. No problem. Let's see if we can grab one person walk.
I should have got. I didn't get the fucking photo.
What photo? Don't worry about it. No worries, mate.